The mountains of Yunnan stood tall and proud. Ancient forests whispered secrets to the wind. Crystal-clear streams flowed through valleys, their melodies echoing in the stillness. The air was pure, filled with the scent of pine and wildflowers. Sunlight danced on the snow-capped peaks. Clouds drifted lazily across the azure sky, casting fleeting shadows on the slopes below. This was a place where time seemed to stand still, a sanctuary for contemplation and introspection. High in these mountains, in a secluded monastery carved into the mountainside, lived Li Wei. A monk since childhood, he had taken a vow of silence. His days were spent in deep meditation, seeking enlightenment. He lived a life of simplicity and discipline. His only companions were the wind, the trees, and the animals that shared his mountain home. Li Wei moved with a quiet grace, his presence as calming as the mountain air. His heart sought solace in the silence, finding peace in the rhythm of nature. One winter, as Li Wei sat in deep meditation, something extraordinary happened. He heard a voice. It was not an audible voice, but an internal one, resonating deep within his soul. "I am Jesus," the voice said. The words echoed in the stillness of his heart. Li Wei's eyes opened in astonishment. Never in his years of meditation had he experienced anything like this. The voice was gentle, yet powerful, filled with an undeniable love and compassion. It was a voice that spoke directly to his soul, stirring something deep within him. Intrigued and a little afraid, Li Wei listened. The voice began to share stories about a man named Jesus. He spoke of love, compassion, and forgiveness. He spoke of a God who loved the world so much that he sent his only son to save it. These teachings resonated with Li Wei. They filled a void he hadn't realized existed. The more he listened, the more peace he felt. His heart, once focused solely on achieving enlightenment through silence, now found solace in the words of Jesus. A profound change came over Li Wei. He continued his meditation, but now it was different. His silence was no longer empty but filled with the presence of Jesus. He felt a newfound joy, a lightness in his heart that he had never known. Li Wei began to incorporate the teachings of Jesus into his daily life. He practiced forgiveness, offering kindness to the creatures he encountered. Love and compassion flowed from him, transforming his solitary existence. Section 6. The Search for Understanding. Li Wei yearned to learn more about Jesus. He had so many questions, so much he wanted to understand. He felt a deep longing to connect more deeply with this voice that had touched his soul. One day, he decided to leave the confines of his mountain monastery. He felt an undeniable pull to venture out, to seek answers to the questions that burned within him. He knew in his heart that he had to find others who knew about Jesus. Section 7. A Chance Encounter. As he descended the mountain path, Li Wei encountered an elderly woman tending to her garden. He sensed a kindness in her eyes, and breaking his vow of silence for the first time in years, he asked her if she knew about Jesus. The woman smiled warmly. "Why, yes," she replied. "I am a Christian. I've been following the teachings of Jesus for many years." Li Wei felt a surge of hope. He had found someone who could guide him. Section 8. The Gift of Scripture. The woman invited Li Wei into her humble home. She told him more about Jesus, sharing stories from the Bible. She gave him a copy of the Bible, its pages filled with the words that had profoundly touched his heart. Li Wei held the Bible with reverence. As he opened its pages, he felt a sense of homecoming. The words seemed to leap off the page, filling him with a sense of peace and understanding he had never known before. Section 9. Fulfillment in the Silence. Li Wei returned to his mountain monastery, his heart overflowing. He spent his days reading the Bible, each word resonating deep within his soul. His silence was no longer solitary but filled with the presence of Jesus. His prayers, once focused on achieving enlightenment, were now filled with gratitude and love for the God who had found him in the silence. The mountains, once symbols of his solitary existence, now reflected the majesty of the Creator. Li Wei had found his awakening, not in the silence he sought but in the voice that spoke to his soul.